Should we give allowance? And if so, when should we start? Okay, so the simple answer to the question, should we give our kids allowance? My simple answer is absolutely, okay? The answer from me is yes. Now, you can find an argument. Well, actually, I've never actually seen an argument for the other side, to be honest with you. In all of my research and all of my reading and everything, I've never seen a strong argument for not giving kids allowance. We'll talk about the chore thing tied to it in a little bit. But so yes, most people think of allowance as your child's first lesson. It's used as a tool. It's used as a vehicle for their first lesson in personal finance. Okay? Just like we teach our kids lifelong skills, like it could be as easy as personal hygiene, brushing their teeth. We teach them about manners. We teach them all of these things that we consider lifelong skills. This is the same thing. Using allowance can teach them some lifelong skills. In the eyes of kids, their money is far more precious than our money, isn't it? Those of you that give allowance. I mean, that kid that sees the latest Star Wars Lego set, oh my God, they have to have that with your money. Now, if it was their money, not such a strong need. Might be a want. And so again, wants versus needs comes up a lot with kids when talking about finances and allowance and how to spend and that sort of thing. And I'm sure every single one of you has experienced what I call the gimmies. Your child is in the store and it's just the gimmies. So that's a good starting place. If your kids are in that phase or have passed that phase, that's kind of a clue as to when you might want to start giving allowance. Because once they have that money, their own personal money, and you're at the store and gimme, it takes away so much of the whining and nagging and power struggles when you can very simply, nonchalantly say to them, how much money do you have? How bad do you want that? Are you willing to spend your money on that? It takes away so much back and forth arguing with the kids about things that they want, because it empowers them. Okay, now if they have money, okay, so the answer is yes. I think give allowance. So the question is, when do you start? I like I said, I think the gimmies is a good place to start when your kids are asking for a lot, because you can turn that around and use that with them. As far as spending their own money, you can start at a really young age. I didn't start super young, but I know people that have started at 3 and 4 if their kids were particularly interested in money and had a lot of questions and the gimmies. I didn't start I noticed my kids were ready for that around 6, and we were trying to find places to move, so we were traveling a lot and visiting in different states, and it was a lot of upheaval, and then my husband came here and I was still in California with the kids, so I didn't start it yet because it was just too much going on and too many changes. But we started it on their 7th birthday. That's when I had twins, those of you that didn't know that. But that's when we started. We thought that was a good age. It felt right to us, and I think they were ready. So that's a personal question as far as when you guys want to start. But it's fun even at a really young age for kids to get some allowance, because they can see it accumulate, especially if you put it in something clear where they can see it growing, they can see it, increasing. They can drop it in their piggy bank. I mean, who didn't like to do that? I remember that as a child. I love that. But with all things parenting, you obviously want to start where your kids are, okay, where they are mentally. And for some of you, your ages are all spread out, so it depends where you're going to start with that. And but whenever you start, if you start, make sure you talk to them very directly about why you're giving them allowance and what it is you expect from them with that. Okay, so for us, we told our kids exactly, very directly from the time they were 7, that you are getting allowance because we want you to learn about money. You have to have money to learn about money. So as part of this family, you are getting some allowance every week. Okay? We want to teach you fiscal responsibility. We were very deliberate in what we told them. Even at 7, we're using this word fiscal responsibility. And we explained to them what that looks like and what that means. And of course, it was an evolving conversation. But it's been, because we were so clear, I mean, obviously, I'd advise you guys to talk to your partners if you have one, to figure out your why you're doing it, if you choose to do it. And then once you guys are clear on it and you make it clear to your kids, it's pretty smooth. The next question is how much? And that's also very debatable, and I don't have I know what people do and I know what we do. I don't have a strong feeling about it. It depends on a few things. It depends on your child's age. Obviously, you're gonna give a 12-year-old more than you're giving a 5-year-old, okay? It also depends on your own finances. So it depends on the age, it depends on your own personal finances, and it also depends on you and your husband, spouse, partner, what you guys decide your children are going to be responsible for with that money. Now, because our children were only 7, we weren't having them be responsible for buying their own clothes, right? I mean, they were 7. We literally wanted them to just handle the money, okay? Just have the money. And be able to spend it on extra things. So lots of people subscribe to the $1 a week for their age. So if you have a 10-year-old, that's $10 a week. If you have a 5-year-old,
we're gonna get a raise each year. So it's gonna make the math easy because we get a raise each year, right?
yeah. In my family, we didn't do the $1. I mean, because they'd be getting $16 a week now. But what we did is 7, and when they turned 7, they started with $1, and then on their 8th birthday, they got a raise to $2, and on their 9th birthday, they got a raise to $3, and every year on their birthday, they get a raise. And so they're just turned 16 a few weeks ago, so they are up to $10 whopping a week. There's different things. You guys, whatever's comfortable for you, honestly. But also keep in mind that your kids, some kids get a lot of money from relatives. You know, grandmas and grandpas that slip them 20s here and there and here and there. You don't want your children to be so comfortable that your son can buy any video game he wants at any time. That defeats the whole purpose. One of the best things about giving our kids, you know, allowance, where you're giving them in a reasonable amount to be able to get some things, but also not enough, so that they're going to have to save. So they're going to have to save for those big items. They're going to set goals, and most importantly, they're going to learn how to delay instant gratification, which is a huge problem with our kids these days, because everything is instant gratification. The next huge question, and this is probably the number one question, is, do we tie allowance to chores? Do we tie it to chores or do we not? Okay. So let's say you've decided to give your kids an allowance. Okay, you're like, yeah, you know what? I want my kids to learn about money. We're giving an allowance. But doling out cash to your kids might feel really uncomfortable, because you might think, oh my God, I'm going to teach them to be entitled, spoiled brats. I'm just giving them, you know, money every single week with no strings attached. Okay, that's what some people go to. All right, and so you come up with this great plan. Oh my gosh, yes, I'm going to give them allowance so they can learn personal finance, but I'm also going to tie it to chores. And so logically, it does make sense, okay? I understand that. We think we are adults, we do a job, we get paid. They are kids, they're gonna do a job, chore, and they're gonna get paid, okay? You're thinking it's teaching them very good work ethic, you're thinking it's going to prepare them for the real world, all of those things. And some of those are true, okay? It's a slippery slope though. And what we want to do is we want to think about all those things and how it's teaching them, and then also that flip side. And then you guys have to weigh, but I'll tell you, there's a lot of people a lot smarter than me out there that do the research, okay? They are the child psychologists, they are the financial gurus, they are the people that do the research on this topic. And actually, again, I haven't found an argument really. I see our argument, what rolls through our head why we want to tie it to chores. I get that. But the research out there says do not tie it to chores. And we will talk about that. The loophole in that first scenario where we think we're doing a good thing, teaching them work ethic and teaching them how to be responsible adults when they go out into the real world, is that adults and parents don't get paid for taking out the trash. We don't get paid for doing the dishes. We don't get paid for doing the laundry, okay? We don't get paid for anything unless it's our profession, unless we're a professional housekeeper or a truck driver, unless it's our profession. Okay, there is that. But most of us are not getting paid to do those things. We're doing those things to run our household, to be better, to make life better for our family. So what I want my kids to learn is I want them to have that intrinsic motivation. I want them to do, we'll call it chores, because it helps the family, because they're part of a team, because it helps us function more smoothly, okay? That's what I want. I want them to have internal motivation, and when we are dangling the allowance like a carrot to get them to do things, it's a form of rewards and bribery. It doesn't transfer to that internal long-term motivation. Yes, it can work temporarily, and it does. The kids are super excited to, oh gosh, yes, mommy, I'll take the trash out. I get $1, okay? But usually it doesn't last long-term. So they decide, you know what, I don't feel like making my bed and taking the trash out and taking my dishes to the sink anymore. So they're like, I'm done. It's not worth $1. I'm not doing my chores. I'm not getting paid. I'm gonna go back to the gimme stage, and it's an epic fail for everybody, for the kid and for the parent. So you've gained nothing. And that happens more times than not, you guys. You get money, you get allowance, so you can learn how to handle your personal finances as you get older. You do chores because you're part of our family. We are a team. We all work together. I mean, it's two 100% completely different things. So I didn't ever want money to be the reward for doing their chores. I do know plenty of people whose kids do say, you know what, it's not worth it. Are you going to start paying me $3? Because otherwise I'm not taking the trash out. Okay. Especially as they get older, they will do that. There's no question. And then who takes the trash out? Chores to all of us and chores to our children have a very negative connotation, right? Chore, it's a chore. And I have a workshop, take the chore out of chores. It's work. We don't like it, okay, typically. So if you can sort of make the shift and start calling it something more accurate, like family contributions, okay? We all have family contributions. That's what it is. You can call it chores, but really what I want you to do is get that mental shift and then teach your kids that same mind shift, okay? I don't want to use allowance as a reward, like we talked about, and I also don't want to use the allowance as a punishment. It's the same to me, okay? You're getting allowance no matter what you do, period. It's not ever going to be taken away, partial. It's not, because that defeats the whole entire purpose of mine and Ron's goal, is to teach them how to manage money, okay? But I do love, my kids have consequences, all the time. Because, yeah, so let's say my son breaks curfew, I'm not going to take away allowance. It's completely unrelated. It makes no sense whatsoever, okay? If she breaks curfew, the next time she goes out, am I going to have the curfew earlier? No, okay? If my son's playing ball in the house when he knows he's not supposed to, and he breaks a window, taking away part of his allowance isn't going to work. Having him pay for part of the window out of his allowance will work. Yeah. So, I love consequences. You have to have them, right? Yeah. And the point is, they need to know that every action has a consequence. Every choice that they make, every decision that they make. My 16-year-old made a bad choice on social media recently. So she had to not just delete every app, she had to close down her accounts. Because if you only delete the app, you can get on your computer or anyone else's phone and keep your stupid Snapchat streak going. It's the craziest thing. So anyway, yeah, that was her consequence. Like, she abused the privilege, and we've talked to her, and so she had to delete her accounts. Let's talk about chore charts. You can call them whatever you want. Chore charts, just as a easy thing to call them. And I might have showed these at another time, but we have chore charts, even though my kids are still this old. And the reason we've always had them, they were little photographs when they were little. It's evolved into checklists, and these are their chore charts. But when they're in school full time, they don't have to do 5 things a day, okay? But in the summer, they're doing 5 things a day, okay? But I don't say a word to them, okay? They wake up in the morning, and these are sitting at the breakfast table. I say nothing. There's no conversation. There's no nagging. There's no reminding. There's no nothing. You guys, it's so easy. But like their basic things they have to do every single day of their life are making their bed, but to be honest, I'm a little lax on that. If they just pulled their comforter up, I'm good. Getting dressed, picked up their room, eating breakfast, brushing their teeth, clearing their dishes, you know, all of that basic stuff. But then this was last weekend, and so they had, you know, there was time off of school, so Riley had to vacuum the hardwood floors downstairs, clean the kitchen counters, take the trash and recycle out, and fold and put away her laundry. Cole had to vacuum the carpet downstairs, get the mail, unload and load the dishwasher, fold and put away his laundry. So like, but there's no conflict, nothing.
Because you have a bunch of whining every morning?
No. They know it's just the way we do it. You know, they just every day, I mean, they, you know.
What age did you start that sort of thing?
Well, like I said, we've been doing charts since they were 3.
Okay.
So they literally had their little picture charts. I brought them to other things where it showed them doing their 5 things they can do by themselves in the morning. And then it kind of evolved. And then it used to be like a checklist because they were really into like checking off, you know, crossing off. And then I did this a few years ago, and it's just
the top 5 things are on the first line every day, because those are just the given, and then you change the bottom ones. Yeah. So during the week of school,
during the week, usually these aren't sitting out now during the school year because these kids are so busy, you guys. I mean, they get no sleep. All they do is go to school, play sports, do homework, go to bed. I mean, it's pretty crazy. But on the weekends, those come out, and I do hear them negotiating sometimes as well. They'll say like, oh my God, would you do this and I'll do that for you? Yeah. My son doesn't mind vacuuming. He puts on his headphones and goes to town.
That's awesome.
So like he'll trade vacuuming with his sister a lot. Oh, pay on time. Pay on time. If you're giving an allowance, decide when you're giving it and pay them on time. Remember, we're modeling for them. Everything that we're doing, we want to see or we want to send the message to our children that we are on time paying our bills, we are on time with our responsibilities. When I see it fail is when parents forget. They forget about it, which means it's not important, they're not prioritizing it, and so the kids, you know, and they think that they have some power or something. So just pay on time, decide when it works. We used to do it once a week, now we do it once a month. And this is what you brought up, let your kids make mistakes with their money, okay? Let them spend it the way that they choose. This is how they learn. They learn the process and how bad do I want it? And I have to use all that money? Is that worth it? It's used. Is that worth it? Is it gonna work? Garage sale, Cole bought a ghetto blaster. It's like when he was like 9 years old. You know, he had to save up for months to get enough money for this old ghetto blaster. And so he was at the garage sale with his sister down the street. They came back. He said, Mom, I found this stereo. I'm looking at it like, oh my God, it's like about 1980. And he says, it's $15. And I'm like, that's a lot of money. That's 15 weeks. That's almost 4 months of this poor kid's allowance. So I really want it. Well, you know, does it work?
Is that cassette?
Test it. Oh yeah. Like he probably didn't know what that was. And he had to have it. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, okay, if it's really important to you, you know, you check with the man, make sure it still works, blah, 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 blah. And so he came home with his prized possession, put it on his navy blue, this beautiful desk he has, put it there. Maybe a few days later, woke up, the batteries had leaked everywhere, stripped the paint, like just huge amounts. I was like, oh my God. Okay, that usually it's just supposed to affect the kids, not the parents. I'm like, you know, but I couldn't get mad at him, you know, and so we tried to fix it, not so well. But that was a good lesson for him. It was used, it was old, you know, he wasn't sure what you're getting. No, but it feels so connected to us because it's like really our money, right? Yeah. And so my daughter, like, it kills me. Like, she bought yet another pair of sunglasses. She's got like 20 pairs. This is my best purchase ever. Okay.
You get
so when they were Amazon, they're $25. I just checked
here. Is it the moon
but
jar?
yes, it is the moon jar. They come apart. It's 3 separate banks. We've got spend, save, share. Spend, save, share. Spend, save, share. That's our. I mean that. Oh my God! If I ask my kids, what phrase do you hear a lot in our house? Spend, save, share. So when we started Allowance at 7, we gave them their money in small coins and small bills, and the only requirement we had of our kids is that they must put some in every container. The amount they choose to put is totally up to them. They could put 90 cents, 5 cents, and 5 cents. They could put 80 cents, 5 and 5. What good? 10 and 10. Whatever they wanted was the way that we established it. But we constantly were talking about how important it is to share charitable giving. Like, we think that is very important for our kids. And so we're modeling that a lot. And so for us to have a share was really important. When I say out of their spend, they can spend it on whatever they want. One of my caveats is as long as it doesn't go against our family values. And that came up for video games.